Hello, welcome to the live stream. I wasn't sure I was going to do a live stream today. Oh, please let me know if my mic is on. It says it's on. But we've changed configurations a lot in the last week because I did the Christmas Eve live stream from a different location, and then I did a 9-hour live stream on Christmas Day that ended in a different location than here. So anyway, we've done a lot of changes. I actually wasn't sure I was going to stream today. Great B says we hear you. I wasn't sure I was going to stream today, but I ended up kind of being a little house kitten all day today. And except for going to the gym, and I decided let's do it. I had hoped to film an edited video, but that didn't really parse out. And what better time to do a live stream about planners and have an excuse to do a planner live stream, which you know I love, than a New Year's Eve live stream. So I have a friend that is doing a New Year's party, and it's a 8-minute bike ride away from here, and I really feel like I should go because they came to our party that we had on Saturday. But I don't normally go out for New Year's. I haven't done that since 2020 and 2019 to 2020 New Year's, and I don't know. I feel like that year didn't go great. And that was like the last time I'd done something. And before that, I hadn't been doing it for a couple years. I don't have to work super early tomorrow, though. I'm actually off tomorrow. I had a 5-day weekend last week. So from Monday until Friday, I worked Saturday. And then I was off Sunday, which was my first Sunday being off in a year plus, where I didn't have to wake up at 3:45 on Sunday. And because we hosted a party for Erin's 40th on Saturday. And so tomorrow is the end of my 4-day weekend. So it's almost like I had like a full vacation, but not really. It was like a 5-day weekend and a 4-day weekend with working in between. But anyway, the kittens are very cute, but they are almost done. It looks like. Yeah, looks like Machka is cleaning up what Kugel left on her plate. So planners. I don't have mine fully set up, and I was so annoyed because I switched to Kinbor this year. I've been using paper. This is what I've been using all year. I did have another planner. I had the Sterling Ink Common Planner for 2024, and it just wasn't working out for me to have two planners. So I told myself, okay, I won't do two planners again. And then I kind of have talked myself into two planners again, even though I knew it was going to be a challenge to keep up with two planners. I really like to be able to fill in the whole thing. And so I don't really know how this is going to work, but I have to say I'm super excited about the layout in this one, which is the Kinbor 8 grid, which is Kinbor is sort of a Chinese knockoff of Hobonichi, but they kind of take elements from a bunch of other Japanese planners. So they kind of, one of them knocks off the Jimbun Techo, one of them knocks off the Hobonichi, and this one is kind of a more functional, for me, knockoff of the PAL planner. But then I've been using a Hobonichi Week style all year with the paper test designs, and my biggest complaint about it was that I didn't need as many pages are in the back. I thought I would need all these extra pages in the back. I do not need all the extra pages in the back. I also don't need this little column right here. So I liked how structured each week. It was super easy for me to fill in. The downside of it was that a lot of weeks ended up not using, I was traveling those weeks, that's why it's empty. I ended up not really using this top section, and I felt like it was a bit of a waste because I would end up being quite crammed in here. I work out enough that the little workout section usually didn't have enough room for my workouts. And I also kind of ran into like, I wanted a little more flexibility to kind of change this on weeks where this isn't the best functional layout. So I got this Kinbor Weeks, and it's also coffee and pastry themed, so pretty perfect for me. And it has a hardcover, which I think will be great. Although I do have this very cute cover that I got from Happy Scrappy when they had a sale earlier this year, that I will be putting it in for now, and then we'll kind of decide later on. So why did I end up going with 2 planners? I don't know. And I don't have a great plan about when I'm going to use each one. I also thought it would be useful to show you this thing that I got as well. So because I had some extra, I had some credits in the TikTok shop, I decided to buy this planner. It is not a planner. It is really called an anti-planner for a reason. I've been thinking about getting it since she was pre-selling it. And I ended up deciding that it was a good research thing. I may make an edited video kind of going through this. I'm going to walk you through really quick what it is. It's by Danny Donovan, and it is not a planner. It is a guidebook for getting out of procrastination ruts. I also did get it from her. You will see that there is a fairly expensive one. This one is expensive. It is a thick boy. It is beautifully printed. As someone who makes print materials, I have to tell you, I have to tell you that it is gorgeous, like, and expensive to print. But if you see one that's like $40 some, that's actually the one from Danny Donovan. Unfortunately, because she sells on the TikTok shop, but also just because this is really common, it was completely ripped off, where they scanned every single one of these pages and like retyped all of the text and stole all of this and are selling them for much cheaper. So if you see one that's like astronomically cheap, it's not actually supporting all of the work that she put into this. And I have to say, it is incredibly quality. So we'll real quick talk about the anti-planner in case you're someone who's been looking into it. I am excited to leave this on my shelf. I'm someone who's like mostly pretty good at not procrastinating, and then occasionally I run up against something. It could be like a dumb admin task that'll take 20 minutes, but I don't like. Or it could be like I have a really big, overwhelming project, so I can't start it. And then I have bad procrastination. Like in college, sometimes I would be great all semester, and then I would just have one paper that I just like could not get started on. And it would be a huge issue. So what is cool about this is it's not meant to be read all the way through, which is great because this is a thick boy. This is like, if you can tell, it's like more than an inch thick, I would say. How to use it. Identify which main emotion you're feeling that is making it why you're procrastinating. So this is meant to be used exactly at the time that I have run into many, many times in my life, which is that you end up like you end up like Googling like how to stop procrastinating, because you're in such a deep procrastination hole when I don't know, I've been in that like self-hating procrastination hole where you just like can't get out of it. And you like are trying to watch YouTube videos to yell at you to do the thing. And you like can't make lists, and you just find yourself like pathologically avoiding something. I feel like this would be the perfect thing to pull out at that. It's so beautiful. I don't plan on writing on it, even though a bunch of the pages are like meant to be written and have activities. So you identify the main emotion you're feeling that is causing you to procrastinate. So they are discouraged, disorganized, unmotivated, overwhelmed, and stuck. And so overwhelmed is a pretty good example of what I am feeling when I end up procrastinating. Usually that is why I end up procrastinating. So let's say, for example, I need to finish a task and I'm feeling overwhelmed. It's just like there's too many things. It's too big of a task. She's got little like paragraphs. None of them are so long that you'll procrastinate on reading them probably. And the illustrations are incredible. Then you go through here and you work within that, like, how are you feeling? So are you intimidated? I have so much to do. It's going to take forever. There are too many steps involved. I'm afraid to even start. Overcommitted. I have too much on my plate. I'm afraid to tell people no. People expect a lot of me. I suck at delegating. Panicked. This is when I am in the, like, Googling how do I stop procrastinating thing. I'm freaking the fuck out. I put things off until last minute. I'm running out of time. I can't get myself to calm down. I'm in a constant state of emergency. So, and then the last one is burnt out, and it has some examples there. But let's say panicked is absolutely a thing. So then you flip to page 132. Okay, and then it has a little bit of text here, and I have to say that it is really, really helpful. It's very relatable. So then it has a bunch of different contents in this section, but then it'll also recommend tactics in other sections. So stress action plan, or how to work during shitstorms. Okay. Oh, people saying I feel attacked. Yeah, hold on. Let me read this to you. This book makes you feel attacked all the time, but then it follows it up with like actual strategies. I just think it's a great desk reference for people like me that know at some point you're going to procrastinate yourself into like pure panic mode. Procrastinators like me often use last-minute panic as a means to get stuff done, but that's not always the best idea. It works, which is why it's often used as a crutch for motivation. I pulled more all-nighters in college than I'm proud to admit. But cutting it precariously close to deadlines is like playing with fire, and it's only a matter of time before I get burned. When it's down to the wire and I start freaking the fuck out, it's hard to think rationally. Also, there's a lot of cursing in this book. If it gets bad enough, I become hyper aware of my bodily sensations by pounding heartbeat, throat tightness, shortness of breath, and cry a lot. Things spin out of control fast. Trying to focus when my thoughts are going 1,000 miles per hour is damn near impossible. People try to help by saying calm down, but that has the opposite effect. Now I'm panicked and annoyed. So what's an anxious gal to do? So the kind of strategies here: meditations for newbies, stress action plan, how to work during shitstorms, grounding countdown, body scan, coloring, deep compression, happy place, anxiety vent space. So this is like a meditation guide. This is the other thing, like if you are someone that really needs a lot of like change and color, I feel like this is very helpful. Lol, if my therapist gets a hold of this. This one is like, how do you figure it out? I mean, it's a really beautiful book, and I feel like the colors are very helpful if you're kind of in that strategy, but it has a lot of other games. Like one of the ones that I tried the other day was like, I know what I needed to do, but I can't get myself to do it, or I keep doing less important things. And so one of these was like doing a speed run. The other one that was in here that I thought was really interesting was a dice roll where you actually use a D20. And if you don't have a D20 because you don't play D&D, you can use like online D20s. But you assign the tasks. Yeah, here it is. You assign the tasks you like need to arrange, and then you run D20s. And one of them you're supposed to make like a fun thing, because like the very last 21. So that, you know, if you roll a D20, then clearly you should play video games or whatever like that. I feel like the timer challenge is really good. There was another one in here that was like, where you try to guess how long it'll take you to do tasks, but then it's like meant to track it over time to see how you get better at estimating tasks. And that's actually been something I've used that tactic for quite a long time because I track all of my work hours. And when I make to-do lists, I actually put the time estimates for how long tasks work on my list. And I use Llama Life, which I do have a short video about Llama Life on here. I still use it all the time. And Llama Life makes you estimate how long a task is going to take before you start the timer. And you can't put something on your to-do list without estimating how long it's going to take. And if you can't estimate how long it's going to take, then it's probably too big of a task, right? And you need to break it down into smaller ones. So that's already a tactic I use, and I've gotten pretty good at estimating times for most things. And actually, the things that I tend to want to procrastinate on the most are the things where it is the hardest category for me to estimate time. So ADHD Queen says, howdy and happy new year. I've been thinking about getting this book too. I'd been thinking about getting it for years because I think it originally came out in like it came out 2023. I think before that it was in pre-order. And I was like, oh, do I really need it? But when I had extra like credits and I was like, yes, I'm going to get it because I feel like if I get it, it will be helpful for other people about whether or not you should get it. And I'm really happy I got it. I don't hold on to a lot of books. And I have to tell you, I will be holding on to this. I think part of it is sometimes you just need something that acts as like a punch when you're going to procrastinate. And this has some really like unusual ways to approach that kind of punch that you need. So I could see it being very valuable. And what is nice is there's so many different types of activities in here that maybe one thing doesn't work for you, but I feel like it also avoids that thing that I see a lot of people with ADHD who tend to have a lot of procrastination issues. A lot of people with ADHD also hate being told what to do, even by a book that they've paid and gotten to tell them what to do. They then have this like oppositional defiance where they're like, no, but I don't want to do what you told me to do. And even sometimes if it's just your past self, right? And I think that what's nice about this is the book gives you enough different options that if you run into that kind of resistance where you're like, well, no, I don't want to do it that way, then you would be able to change it up. Winter says it's the pathological demand avoidance. He's totally into gaming stuff like that. It would probably be great for me too. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that isn't like games, just to be clear. Some of them are just like very, very helpful tactics and techniques. But it is very good at making like the kind of stuff that can be really, really hard for people with ADHD, or just hard for people that are overwhelmed. Like, I mean, you could be neurotypical, but like if you're a parent of young kids that's also managing a job and all the other things you have to do in life, and you just feel overwhelmed, and so you find yourself kind of stuck in a rut because there's just too much happening in your life, I think this could be good for kind of making some of the drudgery of life a little more fun and helping you identify like where the ruts are. I don't think it replaces like therapy, which is what some people need in those situations, but I think it is a good self-help tactic that doesn't fall into the like, well, you just need to be more motivated. You should just know that you want it enough, which is like one of the worst things to hear when you are like in that really bad rut of pathological avoidance where you're like, but no, I don't, that's not, I do want it. I just can't figure out how to make myself do it. Oh, Minnie says, why is one of your fingers purple? All of my fingers are colored because, both of my main fountain pens went out at the same time and I had to refill them. I also had a truly terrible arthritis day yesterday, like the worst that I've had in years. Maybe almost a decade. And like I was just mostly wiped out like all day. I went to the rink and skated for an hour and I was still like in a lot of pain. Anyway, all this to say, I couldn't refill them yesterday. And my hands are still not doing like amazing. Like they don't look that bad. They're not like super inflamed, but I can't like straighten all my fingers and stuff like that because my arthritis. It wasn't just my hands, but that's one of the joints that gets affected. Anyway, which is part of the reason my planners aren't set up yet, because that was my plan yesterday, was to film the setup and do a video, and then I ended up just being on the couch for much of the day. That is the thing I'm gonna have to deal with this year. And when I was making my list of 2025 goals, I was not thinking that I was gonna have to switch medications, but I am probably, this is like, I don't know how much inside baseball you all care about or want to know on this, but I have peripheral spondylitis. It was originally diagnosed as RA, but they've revised it to peripheral spondylitis a couple years ago. It's effectively, it's an autoimmune disorder, very similar to rheumatoid arthritis. I didn't have treatment for the first like 9 years that I had symptoms because it was before the Affordable Care Act passed, and I had often no insurance or very inconsistent insurance. And so I couldn't get it listed as a pre-existing condition, and I didn't have consistent health care. So I didn't get treatment until the ACA passed and I got insurance. And then when I did get insurance and I got treatment for it, I had to go through about 1.5 years of trying different medications in what is known as step therapy or fail first. It's extremely common in the United States on insurance. It's banned in some states due to like work and advocates. It's also pretty common in single payer healthcare countries as well. I had to try a bunch of cheaper drugs, but then once I failed on those drugs, then I was able to get on the expensive drug that I've been on for 9.5 years now. That drug is a biological, and it's very expensive. I think the retail cost is over $12,000 a month. I do not pay that. My insurance doesn't even pay that, actually, because of like group deals. It's a very expensive drug. It's like part of the reason that I got my citizenship outside the US, because of the level of like stress and whatever. It's been very, very effective at treating me. Like the whole time I was in college, I couldn't hold a pen. I couldn't use my hands. One of the reasons I like doing planners and everything now is because I could not. By the way, if you hear weird noises, that's because one of my cats has trapped the other in a box. Really funny. I don't have a camera pointing that way, so you're just gonna have to imagine it. I have been very effectively treated by this drug. I got on this drug within 3 weeks of being on this drug. It essentially was almost as though I didn't have arthritis anymore. Like I had not lived pain-free in like a decade. I was able to grip pens again. I still can't write like much more than like a solid 2 pages without being in like, I just can't hold a pen that long. But I had note takers all through college because I wasn't able to like use pens in classes where I couldn't type fast enough. I like how I said I was going to make it short and then I've gone on along. I'm really still processing a lot of this. So the thing about biologicals is that they are biologicals. The one I'm on is a tumor necrosis factor inhibitor, or a TNF inhibitor. It's one of the most common classes of biologicals. It's used with people with autoimmune disorders. So the one that I am on, and just generally with biologicals, it is common that it stops working for you after a while. And the reason it stops working for you after a while is because immune systems, which is what we are trying to suppress and fight, which is why I'm immunosuppressed. Immune systems have memory, right? Which is why vaccines work, right? So like you get a vaccine, you get a little bit of a virus, an inert virus, and then your immune system learns to fight it off. and it recognizes the shape. So if you later have that virus come back or, whatever it is, it can fight it. That's why vaccines are effective, and because immune systems have memory. Unfortunately, that also means that eventually, for many people that are on these immune modifying medications, these immune suppressing medications like TNF inhibitors, their immune systems stop. They learn the shape of the TNF inhibitor. The shape is the way that my rheumatologist put it. That's obviously like a bit of a misnomer, but they learn to recognize it and then they stop being effective. So, and the average time that they can stop being effective for people is like 8 years of being on these drugs. I've now been on this drug for 9.5. It was about a year or 2 years ago that I take this shot weekly, and I started having the trouble of it was wearing off earlier and earlier in the week. So like instead of it having 7 days of symptom relief, it would only have like 6 days. So one of the methods that they can do to kind of extend how long a biological will work for someone is they can add in another drug that is like a cheaper compound, relatively safe drug to kind of extend the life of it. And it was still working. It just wasn't working as well as it was. So they added in a relatively easy drug. It's actually hydroxychloroquine. Hopefully YouTube doesn't flag me for saying that, because it was a big deal in 2020 because Trump wanted everybody to get on it. But so yeah, I'm on hydroxychloroquine as well as my biological. That's actually an anti-malarial drug that's commonly used in treating arthritis. So, over the past couple months, I've noticed that even the combination of that and my biological it's not working as well. And I'm obviously like very active. I'm very blessed that like my arthritis is not mostly interfere with my daily living. But I work out like 2 to 3 hours a day. So between biking and figure skating and yoga and then my off ice training. And I have just been having a lot more, like one of the hallmarks of rheumatoid arthritis is that you wake up with morning stiffness. So like your joints are the worst when you wake up. That's the easiest way to tell if something is osteoarthritis versus rheumatoid, because osteoarthritis is from the wear on joints. Most people, if you live long enough, you will get some level of osteoarthritis just because your cartilage breaks down as you get older and your joints will rub. So you're like, commonly you see osteoarthritis in people that like work in physical jobs with their hands, like seamstresses will get a lot of osteoarthritis. You'll also see osteoarthritis in like athletes that do high impact sports. Rheumatoid arthritis, because it's your immune system, it tends to be worse in the morning. And that's because overnight your immune system's busy like cooking up its dumb stuff, attacking yourself. So it usually gets better and over the course of the day. I've had no morning stiffness almost at all since I've been on this biological that I'm on. Unfortunately, it started to get worse in the past couple of months. And it was starting where it'd be like 20 minutes in the morning and it would kind of get better and then it would go away. Yesterday, it was all day. It was wild. And it was one of the worst days I've ever had. And I am still processing the fact that I absolutely am going to have to get probably switch drugs next year. And the reason I'm like really stressed out about that, one, like many planner people, I've been planning my 2025 and it did not include having to go through a regimen of new expensive drugs. And my hands will almost definitely be worse during the period of time that I'm switching drugs because they don't work immediately. It's not like taking a painkiller and it just kills the pain. Like biologicals, your body, like you have to get them in your body. It takes a while. Mine took 3 weeks, which was phenomenal at the time because I'd been taking ineffective meds. It did nothing for a year and a half when I got on it. But it could take up to 6 months. And there's a possibility the first one we try doesn't work. And if we try one and it doesn't work, I can't go back to I almost definitely cannot go back to the biological I'm on now, because usually biologicals won't work when you take a break from them and go back on them for that kind of immune system memory reason that I talked about before. So Um, oh my gosh, there's so many comments in here. I'm sorry. We need to do some planner stuff, but okay, there's so much stuff here. Oh, ADHD Queen is saying, have you done the paraffin? I have never done it in a manicure place, but interestingly enough, I have done paraffin. My old dentist used to do paraffin wax. It's been years since I had it, but it was so nice at the dentist. They would like put your hand in wax and gloves while you were getting your teeth done. It's such a weird thing, but it was amazing. It does help relieve things, but unfortunately, I'm very bad at resting and I like to have my hands. Winter says, I had to do the step therapy over a nasal spray I've been using since I was 16. Oh, that is a bummer. Did you switch insurance? And they like weren't able to argue. Because this is the other thing is like, I think one of the reasons this is bringing up so much stress is like, this drug I'm on is so expensive that it's like a whole hassle every time I switch insurance. And I had a period there where every year I was switching insurance because I was self-employed and I got my plans through the marketplace. And every year they would end up changing my plan. Or I worked for small employers and then they would get rid of the plan that my small employer was using through the marketplace. And then I'd have to switch again. And so I just had to go through this like almost every year. And it's very stressful. So that's good. You finally found a treatment that works. That's a gamble with Canadian healthcare. Yeah, absolutely. It would cost a lot. It would cost a lot less money if I could just go buy this drug in Canada. Minnie says, I really hope this current MS-DMT keeps working for me. Yeah, that's one of the really hard things. Like the MS drugs are another great example of like, they're even more expensive than most of the biologicals on the market. And you have to be on them for quite a while to like figure out if they're working. Ugh. Can confirm biologicals are incredibly expensive. One had a patient fly in with a money order and pay out of pocket for 3 months of a biological, $75,000 out of pocket. Yeah, even with insurance, I ended up having to pay $7,000 one year. And yeah, it was really a bummer. Carly G says, I'm super sensitive to many medicines. Okay, there's so many comments. Okay. I'm glad people like this club. Oh yeah, we do have a heated blanket. People are talking about heated mattress pads. We have a heated blanket and I was just under it like all day yesterday after I got home from the rink and I was like, man, I'm not going to be more productive. I love that everybody has health conditions and we're all just bonding over how broken we are. Winter says, I think my insurance changed their formulary and wanted a different drug, or maybe some generic became available. Yeah, I do think that's really common with some of the generics. Okay, should we talk about planners now? I feel like we should probably talk about this is my explanation for why I didn't film a video or set up my planners yet, but I don't really know what to do about I'm going to explain my dilemma. So one, tomorrow we are having a bike move and my Hobonichi planners other than this one. So I have 2 Hobonichi covers that have been in storage for a year and a half. And I've been using this one, which is a Jimboon Techo cover. And it's great. And I like that it's the systemic Kyoko cover. And I like that it has a lot of pockets and it's like pretty professional looking. Like nobody's going to be like, oh, you're one of those planner people. But I am really excited to use my fun Hobonichi covers that have been in storage. So we are having a bike move tomorrow, so I will have them. Now, I have this fun cover. I've been using this cover all year with my weekly notebook. And it's a pretty great cover. It's from Estelle, but I think that I just want to change it up. I just want something fresh. So we're going to pull all the stuff out, evaluate it, and decide if we need any of it. And then I guess we'll decorate the new planner. I'm not going to pull my credit card out on the stream. And we can always come back to this one. I like this one because it actually functions as a like bag and you can put a chain on it. It's really nice for, I don't know, quick going out. But I don't usually need my planner when I'm going somewhere with only a small purse. Okay. This is this year's planner. And because my planner started this week, I just used this one to test all of the fountain pens that I was filling up. And it has worked really well. And I'm planning on kind of mimicking this style when it comes to my my weeklies, except obviously this little bit here. This is what I mean by like I don't have enough space for things that I would like to put on this page, and I just really I don't really know what to do. Okay. I've loved that size. I've loved the Hobonichi Week size. So I was considering, also this one does have a hardcover, so it doesn't fit as well in this cover, but it's fine. It's fine. So also, I've been saving the sticker, but I don't know which planner to put it on. It says, I'm the ghost with the most. And it's like all the planner supplies. And then I have a bunch of coffee cats, which goes perfectly with this. I really am having a lot of that new planner fear situation right now. Should I put my I'm Precious? I got this from someone on a bus. And I got this from someone at a Dan and Phil show. I have this little freebie Hobonichi Week sized thing, and then I have this glitter sleeve. So I think the glitter sleeve I'm gonna like layer here, maybe? I don't know. Maybe it's like just gonna live inside of this. So I don't know. How am I gonna avoid y'all doing the same thing I was doing last time? I already really like this layout. It's very similar to the Jimboon Days layout where you can have like the schedule on one side. I'm still kind of workshopping like which side I do it on. One thing I ran into is like I don't particularly like writing like right in the middle, and so I kind of want to do the to-do list over there and the schedule over there. But I also think it's fine if I swap between the two. I'm kind of thinking that maybe this, I think this is pretty typical, but maybe this one is my health and work. And then this is like my everything else. This seems to be the best for to-do lists. Like it's really good because I put pretty meaty to-do lists together. And actually my to-do lists tend to be the longest on Wednesdays and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. And the reason that is because these are my days off. So I have like lots of random tasks and cleaning and stuff like that I need to do. And then Wednesdays are my Mondays, like my first day back to work. And I usually have like a lot of deadlines and emails and kind of admin stuff to do. I tend to have less on Saturday and Sunday. And I tend to also have a lot of to-dos on Thursdays. But it's like Saturday and Sundays, I have fewer because I'm at work. But so I started just working on like, this is going to be random to-do list in the background. Oh, Koala said donut fund. Thank you. And also FDIC insured Fritter Fantasy is a fantastic donut name. I cannot imagine a better donut name. that might have gotten me to enough to be able to withdraw my money from YouTube. By the way, you can't withdraw from YouTube unless you have $100 in there. So I only withdraw from like every 3 months because I don't make that much money on YouTube. So anyway, I think I was at like 90. So thank you. I think I'm very close now to being able to withdraw. The super chat came through on Aaron's live stream with the donut. Wait, is it Aaron's, no, it's a donut funds. It's from mine. By the way, I don't have a donut today, so I'm extra sorry for the donut fund. I don't have a donut today because there weren't any new flavors that we haven't had on the stream yet. And, I didn't really want to go to the donut shop. And also I have eaten so much sweet stuff this week because of Aaron's birthday. I kind of had I got too many desserts for Aaron's birthday. Okay, y'all, what do we do? How do we solve this? Also, I've now had these clips for like 9 years or something like that. But they still serve me well, these tacos, and since my Filofax days. I want to use both planners, but I will be upset if I don't fill them all in. And it did not work when I got the sterling ink last year. Part of the reason I think, though, the problem with the sterling ink was, did you see like how many weeks I just filled up by just like putting my daily calendar in it? What would end up happening is sometimes I would just use it as a place to put my regular to-do list. And I just felt like because it had the numbers each day, it just didn't work. And the columns were too small for a lot of things. It just wasn't the thing. I also want to track some things, but I'm afraid to commit to my trackers in this. You can see what it looks like in the Kinbor. I'm afraid to commit. I'm having real commitment phobia. This isn't actually a planner stream. This is just me saying all my anxieties on the stream. It definitely played the sound. Should I try to make Aaron be on the chat over there? Aaron is building Legos in the stream. And we could have some sort of stream inception if Aaron pulls it together. Thanks. The problem with this one though is that like it's upside down, if that makes sense. The cat has to be backwards because of the way the paperclip goes in. I've never understood that, and I've always wondered if maybe the person who made it on Etsy when I bought it did it wrong, but then so you have to like put it on the side like that or do it from the bottom. I don't know what to do about my planner, y'all. I'm worried I won't end up using all of the pages and then it's going to make me sad because I like to finish things. These are also meaty. These are big columns. Oh, one thing I was thinking about doing in this is drawing what I buy every day. But I have to decide by tomorrow. But I want to say it was 2014, I did a project called Bifocal where I took a picture of everything I bought that year. Like quite a lot of it. And I was sort of like thinking that it was like a little fun documentation project. And obviously I document like all my expenses, but I'm going to hit 10 years on YNAB this year. And I was thinking it would be kind of fun to do another fun kind of artsy project related to spending that isn't just my little data reports that I do. And these are pretty like good squares for doing that. I've seen a lot of people that do really cute like picture a days. I don't think that's really going to work, but I felt like I could probably do drawing what I eat. I'm setting up my Sterling Ink goal pages. Use those pages as a quarterly section. Oh, because they are quarters like that. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. But then what do I put on them? What do I put on them? I don't know. They're thirds, actually, is like the way they're organized. No Crayolas or donuts. Yes, it's true. No Crayolas. I love how everybody's just doing medical discussions in this. Oh, Carly, you have undifferentiated. Wow, it is my job to pronounce things. Undifferentiated spondylitis. Mine is peripheral, which is much more rare than axial. It's a pretty rare diagnosis anyway, which is like for a while they didn't put it on my chart because it was going to make it harder to get approved for drugs because it's often not on the formulary because it is more unusual. But I can use two other forms of, I can use JAK inhibitors and I can use IL-1B7. I think that's what it is, 17B, which are not usually used for rheumatoid arthritis, but they can be used for peripheral spondylitis. Anyway, my point is one thing I'm concerned about is that it could end up being axial because I have noticed some spine stuff, but it is hard to tell because I do like a lot of back stretching and laybacks, and I just do a lot of stuff using my core where is it stiffness or is it just that I worked out and stretched maybe a little too hard the day before? Oh, what is the name of your Japanese sticker calendar? Well, I'm very behind on it. I left on a trip and then I just never got back on the horse. It's so beautiful though, isn't it? It's just so beautiful. I don't know what to do with them. They're called Himi Curry. I think they're probably all sold out now in the US because they usually sell out really fast. Himekuri. Someone, if you speak Japanese and there is a better way to pronounce that, please let me know. You can find them at Yosika Stationery in the US. And then usually a couple, like Jet Pens will maybe have them sometimes. Okay. Geograph Concept says, I love RA talk, but it's Hobonichi Eve. My problem is just that I don't know what to do with my planners. I don't want to commit to anything. Weirdly, committing to actually planning stuff in them is like way easier. Like I can't even figure out which of these planners I want to put all of my like future date logs in it. I feel like it should probably be this one. I should probably do little overviews in the weeks for forward-looking stuff because I think that would be probably the best. There's no year page in this one because it's not a weeks. Because weeks has that like tiny weird little year annual page. Should I use those? No, I should use the monthly calendars. I'm not going to use the monthly calendars for anything else. Let's write in all of the important things. I don't want to commit. We're going to use Frixon. Find one of my Frixons. Just a few pens. Don't mind me. Where are all my Frixons? Oh, they must not be in here. Now I'm going to reveal myself to just how many pens I really have. I'm hiding it from you all. Here's one of them, but it's not my favorite of the colors. All right, I guess it's going to be blue. Who makes the himikuri? Carly says it took them years to diagnose my spondy. My RA got diagnosed very quickly because it's a clinical diagnosis, but I was always seronegative except once. But you know, it's a clinical diagnosis, so even if your RF factor is too high, it doesn't really matter. But just making sure I can actually, yes, I can. But then my mom, who has the same thing as me, got a gene test, and they revised the diagnosis to spondylitis, which is often seronegative. And so I got the same gene test, and they revised it, but they didn't put it on my chart for quite a while. Okay. We're going to do major events. Okay, dentist. Well, I already did Beyond B on the wrong one. It's last Friday, so it's always a little confusing because sometimes it's not the 4th Friday. Trying to make this closer so you could actually see what I'm writing, if you care. Okay, that's everything I need that month. And there we go. Beyond B. Then This is a vacation. That's why I'm marking it all like this. I think I hear Aaron. Aaron may have finished his Legos. Okay, I'm teaching a credit workshop for someone. I must be at Reed. Okay. And April. Tax day. And Beyond B. Nothing else super important. May is Beyond B. And oh, I'm in June, but nothing is happening in June. I'll just write kickoff ride because it will probably happen that day. And B-Day. And then August is Majka and Kugel's birthday. And Beyond B. This will probably be Selwood. Beyond B. And when is FinCon? It's in Portland this year, so I am going. It's the 10th through the 12th. This is making me feel like I should fill out my 2025 vacation calendar. Well, you shouldn't procrastinate on taking time off because do you need to use the procrastination book to not procrastinate on taking time off? But yes, you should fill in your vacation calendar now. Y'all, it's compensation. You're giving up free money if you don't use your PTO. Okay, October. Oh, Beyond Me is here. Then I feel like I was teaching a workshop in June that I do not see on this. Also, am I not teaching another workshop in January? Interesting. I don't see it. Oh, I'm teaching maybe 2 different credit workshops. Which one am I doing? Okay. I think the times were wrong. Okay. So the credit workshop is on March 10th. No, we moved it up though, because right. And there's one on February 10th. There we go. I knew there was another one. Okay. Workshop. Okay. June 2025. It's June 2nd. There we go. Workshop, Oregon serves. This is really reminding me I need to confirm. Like, I have a lot of workshops that have not been officially booked yet for 2025, and I should definitely get to work on it. Okay, workshop, Oregon serves. I may be teaching a college class too in the fall, but I don't. I'll believe it when I see it. Oh my gosh, David, I completely forgot about the thing you were going to send me. I'm very excited about it whenever it comes. Meteorx says, I've been taking a lot of half days to prevent stockpiling personal leave because if I have too many hours at the end of the fiscal year, I use them. Yeah, our fiscal year is, it's July 1 to July 1. And so those are when you use or lose them. I am using almost all my PTO in March because we don't get like a ton at my job. But I've been using comp days for this vacation because I still have 3 more comp days I need to use. So David says, I never not used all my vacation days. I just always feel like I should spread them out. That's good. I'm glad you use all of them. I'm blocking time off now to go to the Chicago Stationery Festival. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Okay. We're getting close. Okay, I need to cancel Peacock on Black Friday next year. As I signed up for a year of Peacock for like $10 or whatever. Nothing there. And nothing there. Pretty good. Okay, I'm just gonna put the October B&B in. Oh, it's on a Friday again. Oh my God. B&B is actually on Halloween this year. Oh, I'm so excited. Wow, I really better do it up. I better have a great costume. Oh, I'm very excited about that. Okay, I gotta start working on my costume now for Rocks on the Bridges. Halloween. Oh my God, I'm so excited about that. Okay, then we won't be doing it. We'll probably do it. This one. And there we go. Look at that. Should I write the top thing for each month in this little year at a glance? I feel like I probably should. I still don't want to commit, just to be clear. So I'm continuing to use the Frixon. Okay, so this one is going to be FinCon trip to Southeast Asia. New planner. That's my top thing for this month. Okay. Not very much in there yet, but we've got plans. June is Pedalpalooza. It's always Pedalpalooza. Okay. I love this little, it's so cute. It does have a hard cover, so maybe it doesn't need to use the cover, but I just really like this cover. It's very cute little cover. I like that it's tweed, but then it's also sparkly. It feels very like Clueless era preppy. Fuzzbubble says, what is FinCon? Financial info. FinCon is a conference for personal finance creators. And it's meant for independent creators. So like bloggers and podcasters and stuff like that. And it's a huge industry conference. I used to go all the time. I used to go every year when I was doing that, when I had my own podcast and I was managing a business. Now, I haven't been going the past couple years. I mean, it was obviously canceled for COVID, and then they had it, like, I think they had it in 2021, but it was like, didn't feel safe. And then anyway, now it doesn't make there's not a lot of people working for traditional media organizations that go, but it's in Portland this year. So I'm just going because and I got tickets for very cheap. And I'm going to see a lot of people I really like that I don't get to see very often, that I used to only see at FinCon. So, and probably some of them are going to stay at my house. And I am going to be able to just count it as work time. Like my boss is going to, it's absolutely a very good industry conference for people who work in financial media, even though it is mainly geared at people that work for themselves or work for blogs and things like that. Or the companies that are trying to get promotions with them. But there was a bunch of drama with FinCon a couple of years ago, but I'm going while it's in my town, so. Besotten with Cotton says, oh my god, I had Peacock for $2.99 a month and I canceled at end of year, but then I got sucked into Hallmark Christmas movies, so renewed. Peacock, the reason I end up making a new email address almost every year and get the deal. I end up needing it for skating. It is the only, they have the only rights to US figure skating competitions. And most of the international, and I do not like the way they're doing figure skating right now. They're pretty good at the Olympics these days. I think the Peacock app is way better for the Olympics than the way that Olympic coverage used to be. But because figure skating is a sport with music licensing, there's been a lot of problems this year. And they only have competitions up for 24 hours after an event. And there was a bunch of problems where you'd have to watch all the commercials if you wanted to scroll to a later competitor. But they are the only way to watch the US competitions. The international competitions, for quite a while, I was just not watching it, even though they have the exclusive license in the US. If you have access to a VPN, you're able to watch the European streams of International Skating Union competitions, but that doesn't apply to the US ones. So anyway, the whole reason I have it is watching figure skating. And what I used to do before I started getting on this, getting the year annual and then um like creating a new email address thing was that they let you just do a month at a time. So I would just sign up for 1 month of Peacock during like US nationals. Winter says, I got lost browsing Usika stationery. It's a very dangerous place. The niche community drama is like not that fun. It boiled down to politics and racism, I have to say, and probably a little bit of sexism. It wasn't great, and a lot of people stopped going to FinCon, and so I sort of was like, eh. Besotted with Cotton says smart strategies with emails. Even if you have Gmail, you don't have to make new emails. You can just add a plus to the end of your name. So if your email is like Lillian@gmail.com, you can do Lillian and then the plus symbol and then another word at gmail.com. And it will still go to the same inbox. So that is a good way to make new emails without having to actually make a new email. Besotted with Cotton, yeah. I think any of the niche sports, cycling is the same thing. As someone who likes riding bikes, I just hate watching cycling. I find it very boring. Especially road cycling. I think like mountain bike or short track, which are almost never on television anyway, are like somewhat more fun to watch, but I just find cycling extremely boring. But yeah, I think anybody that's in a niche sport, you really are stuck with that kind of problem. Also, NBC has been spending a lot of money on getting sports, so. I hate Christmas movies. Now the same channels have branched into Hanukkah movies. The writing is just as bad. We watched a interfaith, both Christmas and Hanukkah movie the other, I think we watched it maybe on actual Christmas, called Menorahs and Mistletoe. And yes, the writing is bad, but that's the point. And this one I both enjoyed, but you had to do a lot of belief suspension, as you have to do in these. And one of the things of belief suspension was believing that a liberal reform American Jew didn't know anything about celebrating Christmas, who also works as a public school teacher. And it was just very confusing to think that someone would have kind of the same level of it. But I did think it was very cute. There was a tiny kitten stretch with a little tail out. It was very cute. What is cobblestone craziness? I don't know what that is. I don't watch enough cycling. I also used to hate Christmas movies, and we've found that we enjoy them. I think it's how I've kind of come around to like romance novels. Not the romance novels that are basically just porn. But I find that I like the formulaicness of something, and if something is decently compelling, there is some joy in the routineness of it. And one of the things I always say about romance novels is one of the reasons they get crapped on is because they're novels written by women for women. And a lot of people like to read them not for the central romance plot, which is actually very rarely the central plot in a lot of the ones I read, at least. But because you like it when nice things happen to women in literature, which is surprisingly hard to find in a lot of other genres. And this is also true, I think, with rom-coms. You just want good things to happen to women, and that is often not true by things written by men. And that's kind of how I feel about the genre of holiday movies, so to speak, which is that it's familiar in its predictability, and you know that nothing bad is really going to happen. Anything bad that's happened will happen in the first 5 minutes, or in the distant past, 10 years ago, someone's mother died. There's a lot of widows. Or 10 years ago, someone's wife died. David says, I was recently listening to one Jewish comedian recently talk about his experience learning about Christmas. Amusing. I found this thread. It really popped off on Twitter. Here, hold on, I'll read it to you. And it was very interesting because someone who doesn't really participate in Christmas, this year I was kind of trying to do more of this stuff, for a bunch of reasons. And I found this very apt. So this is from December 2020. If we can all remember back to that year. So it's from Mohammed Hussein, who said, growing up, my Muslim family never celebrated Christmas. This year, I am not going home because pandemic, so my roommates are teaching me how to have my first proper Christmas. I am approaching this with anthropological precision. Here are a few observations. Observation 1. Christmas is a part-time job that you have from mid-November until the end of December. From the outside looking in, Christmas always seemed pretty simple. I thought you put up a tree and then gave gifts to family. This is a lie. Do you want to sleep in on a Saturday? Too bad. Go put up some lights inside the house. Oh, you want to sleep in on a Sunday? Too bad. Go put up some lights outside the house. Next weekend? Nope. Every free moment you have will be spent agonizing over the gifts you must buy. Observation 2. People have very strong feelings about their Christmas traditions. If someone is insisting that a certain food is what you have to eat Christmas morning, because it's their family tradition, do not suggest alternatives. They will stab you in the neck. Observation 3. You can buy yourself a gift, but you can't stuff your own stocking. I don't understand this one, but I told my roommates I bought stuff for my stocking, and they said that's not a thing. I don't care. I bought myself mint chapstick, and I will fake surprise. Observation 4. Your gift budget does not matter. You can set this budget as high as you want, but the perfect gift will always be $10 too expensive. There is no winning. Just give up. Observation 5. Are you guys finding this fun? Because I can keep going. I saw a dog toy plushie that was a dreidel. It was very cute. Our cats have dreidels and they have latkes and they have, what other cat toys do? They have a Star of David too. Yeah, they have a couple Hanukkah cat toys. They got they got two Mousie. Well, they got one Mousie for Hanukkah, and then they got another Mousie for Aaron's birthday because someone, instead of bringing Aaron a gift, brought the cats a gift, which was very smart. And they love this Mousie. It's like their favorite Mousie, and it has been like utterly destroyed. Look at this. But Kugel loves it. So she's only had this for 3 days, and this is what it looks like. The spring classics in Europe have big sections that are in old, narrow cobblestone roads through small towns, and it's fun watching road racers navigate those sections. I'm glad it's fun for someone. It doesn't sound that fun to me. Winter says, I am an unapologetic romance reader. I have been, it was like mid-pandemic. I think that one of the things that's been really beautiful is Kindle Unlimited and the ability to self-publish ebooks has meant that there's a lot more variety and diversity in the world of romance. And there's a lot more like very nice little lesbian romances. So I read a lot of sapphic romance novels as escapism. And I say a lot. Frankly, I have to read so much for work that I don't get to read very many fun romance novels. I was kind of bitter because one of my coworkers, we did the Portland Book Festival. Like a bunch of the hosts from my job hosted panels, and I got to host like a really great panel. And the authors were really great and their books were great. But it was like a more serious panel. It was about Indigenous wisdom and Indigenous stories. And they were both like pretty serious, dense memoirs, and some very dark topics in both of them, as is often true with Indigenous stories. And one of my coworkers got to do a romance book panel. And I was like, damn it, I want to do the romance book panel next year. There's a new bookstore here called Tropes and Trifles, and I think it's brilliant. Yeah, we have one called Grand Gesture Books that just opened in Portland, and I'm really cheering for her. She worked at Powell's, which is like our really big independent bookstore here. It's the largest independent bookstore in the world, I believe. And yeah, she's opened up her own romance bookstore, and it's very cute. I don't get why Rudolph is an appropriate story for children. I also agree with that. This poor kid has a mutation, looks different, then all the other kids make fun of him and ostracize him until they need him for something. I think that that's not exactly what you're supposed to take away from it. I think you're supposed to take away from it that differences can also be strengths and that you shouldn't make fun of anyone anyway, whether or not you need them for something. Rudolph is for children because bullying used to be okay. Just walk it off. Mousy was born in a dryer vent, it looks like. Yeah, it's really, it's really a lot. I've already, like, gotten rid of a lot of the fur that's been pulled out of it. Kugel didn't notice it, though, because she's inside this box right now. I just threw it in front of the box. Let's see if she's asleep. She must be very asleep because the box hasn't moved. I can't see inside the box. I just know she's in it. Have you read the Bright Falls books? Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I never read romance, but I got into some recently. I believe I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care, but now I can't remember if I can see the cover in my head, but I can't remember if I read it. Usually I read almost all my books on the Kindle, and so sometimes if they're not in the Libby app from my library, then I often find that I do not know what the cover looks like, and sometimes I can't picture if I've read it or not. It was an acceptable World War II parable about tolerance. Anyone can be a good worker despite looking different. Does it come from World War II? Is that what it is originally? My mom always used to send me romance novel about middle-aged single women, and I've come to adore them. I also feel that way. David says the people there couldn't explain some things to me I don't get about the mythology. I think the thing that's very frustrating to me about Christmas is that it's been taken over as this religious holiday, but it's really just a rebranded, like, pagan seasonal celebration. And it's very frustrating to me on account of my love of doing... I have to remember that it doesn't matter if Jesus' birthday was obviously not in December, and that people are allowed to celebrate their traditions whenever they want. And I do agree this is a great time to have lights and be around family and eat food of year, right? So, but I do think that they should rearrange it for Christians in the Southern Hemisphere to be in July, so that or in June, so that they could get their winter festival of lights and everything. If we're going to arbitrarily do it, not when Jesus was born anyway. As a Jewish kid, I believed in Santa, and that he wasn't for me. I thought it was so lucky that we lived in our chimneyless house and not some Christian kid. I like that was like the chimney was your really big focus. Okay, if chimneys are so important to Santa Claus, why do kids insist that their parents build ones? And why isn't there a robust business in fake temporary ones for the holidays? I don't know. But is the chimney really important? Tell me more. That is true because chimneys were becoming less and less common by the time that Santa started to become more of a thing. Interesting. ADHD Quinn says problem was he's probably born in the spring, but so is Easter, so they just took over Yule. I thought that we figured out that it was probably September. I thought it was September. They figured out it was September because that was tax day. But also, I just want to say, Jews have long proved you can have holidays really close to each other and it's fine. Why not have major holidays next to each other? What planner does Santa use? He uses one of those like momager planners that has like an insane amount of rows and calendars for all of your kids. I think that's probably what it is. They just told their kids that he has a master key to all the houses. It's so creepy. This is the thing that there's like another new thing that was like not at all around when I was a kid, but is like really common now called Elf on the Shelf, which was like wholly invented by like a company. And Elf on the Shelf is like an elf that watches if you're bad or good, I think. I don't have all the mythology correct, so if anybody has kids and has had to deal with the Elf on the Shelf thing, but it's like a stuffed toy that I guess you can like hide around your house or something like that, but the idea is that he's always watching you. And it's pretty much just teaching children to be okay with surveillance culture. That's a lot of the criticisms around it. And I'm like, do we really need to add more possibly concerning things about this? At least it is better than Mensch on the Bench, the Jewish knockoff product. That is also bad. I don't need to know anything about that, but you don't need a bench on a bench. Although I do like the rhyming. What it Make the Season? Was it a Delilah Green or the same author? The only bearded guy I want to visit my house is Elijah, and you have to open the door for him. That's true. ADHD Queen says, and Besotten with Cotton also said, they both said, I'm so glad I didn't have to deal with the dang elf. This is the thing is like, I always felt like it was so tenuous with these traditions where you would end up with like some kids' parents would tell them some things and then other kids' parents would tell them other things. And then you're left with all of these kids being like, do I tell them? And then there'd be the kids that are like, that knew that Santa wasn't real, but it's like their parents told them like, don't ruin it for the other kids. My favorite Santa mythology is adding older kids to the Santa conspiracy as they get older. Santa is a collectus myth for us all to take care of each other. That's a very positive way to view it, in my opinion. Am I getting a ton of commercials, Minnie? I can ramp it down if you want me to. I don't know if I can do it while I'm live. I have it set on moderate. Here, I hit the delay ads button. But if you're getting a bunch of ads, let me stop it. I've had YouTube Premium for a long time, so I kind of forget. Okay. We should probably be done. I think I have to decide if I'm going to this New Year's party. I'm sorry that I didn't do a very good job of setting up my planners. I don't know what to tell you guys. I have a planner, and I'm good. I don't know which one to use, and I'm having a lot of planner overwhelm where I need everything to be perfect. But I have to start it tomorrow. Aaron is still streaming.
To advance, there's.
So I don't know if we're ever gonna go downstairs. I don't know. Should we keep streaming, y'all? I have a bit of a headache now, too. It's just like mildly concerning. Oh. David says, I have him on mute in the other monitor. He was going to raid my channel, but I don't think I can. He was going to raid my channel, which he can do because we're like, we have each other's stream keys, but it's not like on Twitch, I don't think. I'm trying to see if I can send people. Okay. ADHD Queen says, it's nice to know other people struggle with planners. You'll figure it out. Thanks. I mean, I think, isn't that how everybody in the planner community collectively is, though? Is that we're all collectively stressing. I saw that he has a poll asking who has ever developed their own black and white film. I don't know what to tell you. Aaron didn't decide that he was going to start streaming until like half an hour before he went live. The cats are just completely asleep. Machka is using her tail as a pillow in a little ball. It's the cutest. B, yes. I have a 3-month trial of premium and I don't think I can go back. Once you have it, it's really hard to go back, I have to say. The thing that really got me is like I ended up getting it in 2020 because I was working from home, as everybody was, but I was using a lot of YouTube like lo-fi in the background, and it's really awful to have ads interrupt that all the time. And so I was finally like, yeah, I'm not doing. When you're literally listening to concentration music, it's like very annoying. B says, yeah, that's why I put off using a trial for so long. It is a tax write-offable for me because I have a YouTube channel, and so it's just a business expense for me, and I completely accept it. I also pay for Spotify Premium, and I use Spotify predominantly as a podcasting app, which I know it's not the best podcasting app, but I'm used to it. They were in Santa when they were 5 and 7. Isn't that like the ages at which you start to learn anyway? Because you start being in school. I think I was around 6 when I was like, yeah, this is not a thing. But I'm not going to tell the other kids because I don't want to ruin it for them. Wait, Martha Stewart made her own Elf on the Shelf. It's Snoop Dogg? Oh my god, I have to look this up. Martha Stewart Elf on the Shelf. Oh my god. Martha on the Mantle. Snoop in the Stoop. I hate it, but I also kind of love it. Okay, I should probably go. Unless I live stream for the rest of the year. I don't know. I don't think that I'm going to make this party. Should I make this? I should probably go to this party. Oh, I don't want to go to this party. It looks like I'm dressed, but I'm not really dressed. I'm wearing slippers. ADHD Queen says, I've accepted that planner peace doesn't exist and I just do the best I can and accept I'll not use them every day. If they get used more than 50%, I'm content. That's probably actually a good way to approach it. I think the fact that both these planners were not very expensive has made it a little easier for me to be like, it's okay. It is a $7 planner. And if I don't end up using it all the time, but I have a lot of all or nothing thinking, so it's like very hard for me. The sterling ink, what ended up happening was that I bought it before I discovered the paper test designs, and I could have absolutely just used the paper test designs all year, and I ended up just kind of realizing that and leaning into it. But I've always been interested in this 8 grid kind of method, although I do really wish this was the B5 size instead of the A5 size, or no, the B6 size instead of the A5 size, that the PAL planner is, but this was significantly cheaper than the PAL planner. That Winter says, YouTube is the only subscription I pay for. It's very worth it. It also gives more money to the creators too. So I consume lots of YouTube. As we've discussed, my channel turned 18 years old last week. So 18 years old is old. All right. Happy New Year's, y'all. Nomlet says, I was really not feeling this New Year's Eve party I'm going to tonight, but then I found out it's pajama party themed, and now I'm very okay with it. This party is supposed to be 1924 themed, and 1924, and I have lots of historical clothing, and I have an actual like 1920s dress, and it is in storage that I am moving. I'm having a bike move tomorrow to move stuff out of, and it didn't seem worth it to go to the storage space just to get a single dress one day early for a party that I probably won't even stay at that late because I don't tend to stay up that late. So I don't know. I could probably put something else together, but I have a lot more 1930s stuff, and I have a lot of Victorian and Edwardian stuff, and then I have tons of 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s, and I can definitely do 90s anytime you need me to. But yes. Happy New Year's. Go in your slippers. No, the slippers can't leave the house, and also I'd have to bike in slippers, which seems like a bad idea. Besatin with Connie says, Happy New Year's. Thanks for streaming. You're the best host as always. Oh, thank you. I don't feel like that's true, but I'll take the compliment. Machka, would you like to sit on my lap? The cat's awake now. Do you want to sign people off? You can say goodbye for the end of the year. She looks very sleepy.
Yes, baby.
Oh, she's barely awake. She's barely awake. Are you a very sleepy baby? Are you a very sleepy? Look at this. Hi. Hi. She does not want to be picked up. She's like, oh, I'm too tired to fight this. You were screwing with everything right before the live stream. Oh. Okay, well, before you go, let's say wave goodbye to everybody. Nope. Refuse. Do you want on the lap now? Okay. She's got other plans. She just gave a big stretch. It's very cute. Nope, she's not ready to be awake. She was ridiculous. David says, I second the host enthusiasm. I show up for the sparkling conversation. Y'all are very sweet. You certainly don't show up for the final decisions being made on the planners. Okay, well, I hope you have a lovely rest of your year. If it is 2 hours and 50 minutes long, or 365 days long because you're in GMT or later. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your year and you stay safe out there. Stay hydrated. We will be streaming at the same time next week, probably same place. And until then, stay safe, stay hydrated, pet a cat if you have one available, and I will see you all soon. Bye! Oh, did you just send a bunch of people over to my stream, Aaron? I was literally logging off at this exact moment.
Too bad.
Should I keep streaming since now other people have arrived?
Look at the camera.
This is very cute.
You can open the back.
Can you actually shoot with it?
You can open the back.
Oh my god, that's so cute. Oh, that's adorable. Impressive. Very impressive. Aaron made this out of Legos. Oh, B says that I should ask what everybody is looking forward to. How about we do that before we go? Okay, what is everybody looking forward to in 2025? We normally do in the next week, but we're going to do what are you looking forward to next year? Unless you're in Europe or Australia or Asia, in which case, what are you looking forward to this year? I am, what am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to moving into the house. It's gonna happen in 2025. I feel like a fool for saying that for the third time, but it's gonna happen this year. We are gonna move. And I'm really looking forward to that. So, and setting up my office, my Woodland Regency office. I think that'll be very fun. So, yeah. B says, having a girlfriend, I'm manifesting it for 2025. We'll see. I'm manifesting it for you too. It's happening. Nobody else wants to tell me. Everybody else left because I was literally winding down the stream as Aaron came up here. We realized I couldn't figure out how to send people to you. All right. I guess everybody else is leaving unless there's any other things in the chat. Yep. Nope. Everybody else is gone. B asks, should I see Rami Sethi on his book tour in a few days? I think you should. I have been really enjoying listening to his podcast. And I think it would be interesting to see a live show. So I think you should do it. Okay. I really am going to go now. Stay safe. I hope you all have wonderful rest of the year. Stay hydrated. Pet a cat if you have one available. And I will see you all soon. Bye.